So, welcome to your accounting mentor, a segment on our podcast where we are going to be providing you the key digest of the discussion and helping you to have an understanding of the syllabus, the questions, the styling, and the various things that go on during our live lectures. If you have any questions or something you would want me to cover or share or dive much deeper in during any of these sessions, you can put them in the comment section for me. So our focus today is to look at public sector accounting and finance. That's session one of public sector accounting and finance. What did we discuss? What did we talk about? What are the key issues that we need to walk away from in that session? Now, the first thing we need to understand for the March 2026 examination is the syllabus structure. And so we mentioned that there are 5 questions that we are going to be having in the exam hall. Question 1 for public sector is going to be on the preparation of financial statement, and this can come from the central government perspective, consolidated fund, or covered entities perspective, that is a ministry, department, agency, a metropolitan, municipal, or a district assembly. It can come from any of these angles. Now, the most important thing when it comes to the preparation of financial statement is the idea of understanding IPSAS, that is the International Public Sector Accounting Standards, and also understanding the concept of revenue and expenditure, because that topic will help you to understand the various sources of revenue and the expenditure item for all public sector entities. Then question 2 will take us into the IPSAS specific. So yes, now in public sector, you are going to be having a dedicated 20 marks question on the International Public Sector Accounting Standards, the IPSAS. Question 3 is going to focus on evaluation of financial statement, what you may know as performance measurement or ratio analysis, but evaluation of financial statement. Now, in the public sector, there are 3 models, approaches, methodologies, or frameworks that are used to evaluate the financial performance and position of entities. And these include the common size analysis, the ratio analysis, and then budget variance analysis. So these are the 3 methods or approaches available. One of them will be in the exam hall for 20 marks, and you have to be mindful of it. Question 4 is going to be coming from the public financial management. That is going to focus on budgeting, 10 marks, and then also public expenditure and financial accountability framework, which is PFA, 10 marks as well in the exam hall. Then question 5 will look at regulatory framework, 10 marks, and then governance in public sector, also 10 marks. So when it comes to the public sector accounting and finance examination, these are the key areas that we need to understand. So for the purpose of our discussion, we started the discussion with the question 5, which is regulatory framework and governance in the public sector. So the key question we ask ourselves is, what is the public sector? To define public sector, we said that the public sector represents all organizations that are not privately owned or operated, but are established, run, and financed by the government on behalf of the people. So the main characteristics of public sector entities include ownership. That is, it's owned by the government on behalf of the people. Number 2, how it is operated. It is managed by public officials and bodies. Financing, primarily through public funds, taxes, and fees. And their core mandate is to provide public goods, services, and welfare. And that is what we must understand when we talk about the public sector. But then also, the public sector, it can be categorized. So all the organizations in the public sector can be categorized into 4 major groups. So we have the central government, and this is made up of the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, the ministries, department and agencies, and other constitutional bodies like the Electoral Commission. Then we come to the local government. Now, for the purpose of our examination, we are going to be focusing on these 2, that is the central government and the local government. But then we also have statutory bodies. Then we come to state enterprises like the VRA, ECG, GridCo, and usually they will be overseen by SIGA and also typically apply IFRSs in the preparation of financial statement. But mainly, the public sector organizations, as we said, exist for a couple of reasons: providing essential services, enable economic viability, build national infrastructure, and promote social equity. Because traditionally, public sector entities are not there to make money, but they are there to maximize the welfare of the citizens. Then we also spoke about the differences between public sector entities and private sector entities, right? So what's the difference? certainly accounting, right? In the public sector, central government, the local government, IPSAS will be applied. In the private sector, we are using the IFRSs. Appointment, ownership, and things, public sector entities, as we said, they are going to be up. Directors and board members are going to be appointed by the government, and everything will be managed on behalf of the people. But private sector shareholders will be responsible for that. Public sector entities are financed from the consolidated fund, as well as some fees that they generate. Private sector entities, their primary capital will be provided by the owners, or what we refer to as the shareholders of the entity as well. Then when it comes to the concept of accountability, public sector entities have a wider scope of accountability, but private sector, their accountability scope is quite limited for the most part. Then we came to the fact that there are some legal pillars that we must understand when it comes to public finance. Certainly, the primary thing is the 1992 Constitution, because that is where we are going to derive a lot of things from. But then we also have the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. This is an important act because a lot of the discussions in public sector will actually be coming from the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. We have the Public Procurement Amended Act 2016, Act 914. And this regulates procurement. Remember, procurement is no longer in public sector. It is now in financial management. But it is important here for you to understand that it's one of the acts that we are going to be referring to. Then Audit Service Act is also there. We have the Local Government Act as well. So these are some of the legal issues that we need to understand when it comes to public finance in Ghana. Now, we are going to be coming back to these as we proceed in the discussion to have an understanding of what is happening. But then, what is the National Treasury? How are public funds structured? And so, technically, we have the consolidated fund in the middle, because the consolidated fund is the central account into which almost all government revenues are paid and from which all lawful government spending are made. So, the consolidated fund is the Treasury's main account. But then, in addition to the consolidated fund, there are other public funds. So we have the contingency fund to fund emergencies that are not budgeted for. The District Assembly Common Fund, at least 5% of the total tax revenue must be given or provided to the local assemblies, because that's one of their primary source of revenue. Then GET Fund, Road Fund, the Petroleum Fund, the Sinking Fund, one important public fund like that for the repayment of loans. And so what the Sinking Fund does is to help in the repayment of loan notes. And so instead of the government waiting so that when debt becomes due, then the government will be looking for money to go pay for the debt, the purpose of the Sinking Fund is to set up the fund so that, okay, we've borrowed money, we're going to repay it in 10 years' time. So instead of waiting 10 years, we amortize the loan periodically. We're going to be paying some money into the Sinking Fund that is going to be invested so that when it is time to repay the loan, we liquidate that investment. The money we've been contributing plus interest should almost be equal to the loan repayment amount so that we can repay the loan. That is the purpose of the Sinking Fund. And there are other public funds as well established by an act of parliament as and when it comes. But when we talk about the National Treasury or the public fund, these are the things you must understand. Then the question we ask ourselves is, who are the key players and what are their responsibilities in public sector? And this is where we are gearing into the governance aspect of public sector. First, we come to the executive branch, and that is the president and then the Minister of Finance. Very important, because per the 1992 Constitution, the president shall cause the budget for the next year to be presented to Parliament at least 1 month before the end of the current year. And the Minister of Finance plays some key roles. We're going to come back to this. Then we have spending officers and then principal account holders as well. Now, the principal account holders are the politically appointed people. And then the principal spending officers are the senior-most administrative heads of the institutions. So if you take the Minister of Education, the Minister of Education is a principal account holder. And then the chief director at the Ministry of Education is the principal spending officer. Then we have the boss himself, Controller Accountant General, and then the Auditor General, Internal Audit Agency, So the president, the minister of finance, principal spending officers, principal account holders, controller accountant general, auditor general, the internal audit agency, parliament, and that is the legislature side of things, parliament as a whole, as well as public accounts committee. Now, in the exam hall, the examiner may bring any of these and ask you under the governance aspect in question 5 for 5 marks, something about it that you must be mindful of. The key thing you must understand is what public sector is, the types of public sector organizations, then the legal regulatory framework. It's not about you being able to just list them, but to explain what they are representing. Then the key officers and institutions, the role that they play when it comes to public sector accounting. And these are the things that you must understand. So in the next episode, we'll go to session 2, where we continue the discussion and looked at the various things that we need to understand when it comes to the roles of public sector organizations, as well as how public sector officers are required to behave, what principles must guide their behavior on the overall. So if you find this video valuable and you have learned something, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and follow our pages online everywhere. But most importantly, if you want to get access to our full courses to study directly under my mentorship for the examination, then you can head on to our website, NhyiraPremium.com, to enroll in our courses, or you can send us a message on WhatsApp or call 050-114-9296 so that you can complete your enrollment and start studying under my mentorship to join our community, so I can hold your hand, provide you with the blueprint that you need so you can go to the exam hall, write the exam with confidence, and most importantly, pass the examination. Thank you, and you can check the page for more videos, and I'll catch you on the next one.